Yo, what up guys? Thanks for having us. If you guys don't know who we are, my name's Mark.
I'm Ashley.
And we're YouTube creators. So, we're here to talk about news, nerdy. If you guys didn't know,
thanks for having us, Nick.
Hey guys!
Hi guys!
Alrighty, so it is Nerdy News, where we talk about everything nerdy that happened this week, and this week is a special edition, an all E3 special. So let's get right into it. So E3 2017 has come and it's gone, and we got conferences from Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft, and EA. We also had some cringy moments, which you saw at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's okay, Jesse, we get it.
We've all been there.
All been there.
If you guys didn't know, Need for Speed Payback,
But overall, we were given some very interesting announcements, some good, some bad, and some possible old new consoles coming out that we'll talk about later. But first, let's get into the big three. So let's talk about Microsoft and their big announcement. Project Scorpio is now named Xbox One X. That is Xbox. If you put them all out. Now this is not a new generation console, this is just an upgraded Xbox One S. It's 4K, it's got HDR, which helps create colors closer to real life. It upscales older games to 4K and improves quality on 1080p screens. It's the fastest console ever built. It's so fast and runs so hot, it's liquid cooled. The first liquid cooled console ever. That is crazy. It has 12 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and the GPU is clocked at 1.172 gigahertz. That's capable of 6 teraflops. Now I know what you're thinking. Why do we hear about teraflops constantly? What is a teraflop? Why does it matter? Can you please give a reference to what the other consoles run at? So Nvidia's top graphics card that retails for $800 does 11.3 teraflops, while the PS4 does 4.12. So you can see it's not anywhere near as good as a top graphics card for a PC, and quite a bit better than the PS4 Pro. We also learned that all current Xbox One games will run on it, and it's also smaller than the Xbox One S. Now the Xbox One X will be going on sale November 7th for $500 US and $649 Australian. So is that going to be too much for gamers to pull out of their pocket and upgrade their current Xbox or other console? We also had no mention of VR from Microsoft, but we did learn that old original Xbox games will be coming to their library of backwards compatibility. Now there are quite a few games that were announced at the Microsoft conference, one of which is BioWare's new sci-fi game Anthem. So now we know why Mass Effect Andromeda was so bad they spent all their time on this one. Also announced was Assassin's Creed Origins, and it's confirmed to be set in Egypt. The popular PC game Black Desert will be launching as an Xbox console exclusive. Crackdown 3 is coming, and it will have Terry Crews at the helm. Also announced was Dragon Ball FighterZ with a Z. The art on this looks absolutely fantastic. Forza Motorsport 7 is coming, and it's going to run at a native 4K and 60 frames per second. The Disney-style platformer Cuphead now has a release date. Now this is a game that I'm very, very excited for. I think the art style in this game blows me away, and it's something new. Something new, for God's sakes! When's the last time we've seen something new? We got a look at the new game from the studio behind Goat Simulator Deep Rock Galactic. Ori and the Blind Forest sequel was announced, and this looks absolutely beautiful. Of course, these games all look amazing, but this one, wow, it's gonna blow our mind, I know it. Also announced was Life is Strange Before the Storm, Metro Exodus, Xbox One is getting cross-play with Nintendo Switch for Minecraft, as well as the others. And the very popular rage-inducing game PlayerUnknown's Battleground will be coming to Xbox One later this year. This game's funny to watch online on YouTube. People go crazy for this game. It's pretty funny. Rare's new game, Sea of Thieves, has been delayed until 2018, and we got a glimpse of State of Decay 2's new gameplay. Overall, not an amazing lineup of games, or announcements for that matter, but enough to keep us excited and ready for the upcoming year.
Up next was Nintendo's conference, and it was full of a lot of promises, but not a lot of deliveries. It was basically just a giant IOU. Now, some of the games that were announced at Nintendo's conference was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it's set to release in the 2017 holiday season. Also revealed was an untitled Kirby game set to release in 2018 for the Switch. Game Freak is making a Pokemon RPG for the Switch. However, it may not release for over a year. One of Nintendo's big announcements was Metroid Prime 4 is in development. Now, a lot of people had hoped for this announcement, but all we were given was a freaking cloud with the number 4, so this could be a while.
This one more than likely is going to still be years out.
Yeah.
Nintendo probably just needed some space. Like, okay, well, just tell them the Metroid's coming out.
Something's coming. For Yoshi fans, it was also announced that the Switch will be getting a new Yoshi game sometime in 2018.
A real Yoshi game.
That's right.
So, very cool.
If you thought you put in enough hours on Breath of the Wild, think again. There are going to be 2 expansion packs coming out. The first is set to release on June 30th, and the second is set to release in the 2017 holiday season. Now, what was really cool about the first expansion pack is there's going to be a new map feature that will track where you've been for the last 200 hours. So now we can truly see how much time we've wasted in this game.
Probably too much.
Woohoo! One of my favorite announcements from Nintendo's conference is that Rocket League was announced to be coming to the Switch. Mark and I played this a lot on PlayStation, so I'm really excited for the portability of this.
Yeah, being portable really helps this game a lot. I feel like it's one of the funnest games that we played last year for PlayStation. And it was cheap. It's a very inexpensive game. Just arcadey, fun little RC
like
cars playing soccer.
Soccer meets car racing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, so this is a big win for Nintendo.
Absolutely. One of the really cool things that's going to happen is you can have a Mario hat to customize your cars with too.
I'm sure we're going to get a lot of like little special licensed Nintendo stuff in this. So very cool.
We also have a release date for Super Mario Odyssey, which is going to be available October 27th. Now in this game, we already know Mario has a hat with eyes on it that he can throw, but in the new trailer, we can see that when he throws his hat, he takes control of his enemies, creatures, cars, and other random characters.
Most notably, the T-Rex.
Yes, the T-Rex was probably the coolest thing you could take control of.
That was awesome. I want to be a T-Rex in a Mario game.
Yeah,
I never knew I wanted to be, but I have to be now.
Yeah. And just as a side note, the song in that trailer was pretty catchy. As a bonus, Nintendo announced on their Treehouse livestream that Metroid Samus Returns is coming to the 3DS. Now this will be a reimagined version from Game Boy's Metroid 2, and it's set to release on September 15th.
Up next is the PlayStation announcements. Now I have to admit, I'm a bit of a PlayStation fanboy. Now I have every console, I like to play every console, but I've always had a special place in my heart for PlayStation. But the first game they announced, I could care less. I'm just gonna be honest. So Knack, if you know Knack, Knack 1 came out with a PlayStation 4 release, and it was an okay game. It wasn't bad, but they touted it being this greatest thing because Mark Cerny was attached to it, yada yada yada. Well, Knack 2 has a release date, and that's coming out in September if you care. Also, Uncharted The Lost Legacy was shown off. Now, this is a spin-off from the Uncharted series, and it's going to follow Chloe and Nadine. Also, Monster Hunter World will be coming to PS4 in early 2018. A remastered version of the beloved PlayStation 2 game, Shadow of the Colossus, is coming to the PlayStation 4 in 2018. And it is being redeveloped by the same team that brought the game to the PlayStation 3. This is a complete rehash of the game. They started from scratch and redid it with new graphics. It's much better than a remastered. It's a little hard to say remastered because they were literally recreated it.
Right.
We were also given a nearly 5-minute long look at Days Gone, the open world action adventure from Sony Bend that was announced at the PlayStation E3 conference last year. This is a game we're going to talk about a little later when we talk about some of the games that we're excited for. We got our first look at Call of Duty World War II's multiplayer. Also, Skyrim is coming to VR. They really have taken Skyrim and just drugged this as far as they can get it. This, I think, came out in 2007, and they're still bringing it up. Make a new game, please! A new God of War game is coming out in 2018. I'm going to don it the old man Kratos. That looks amazing. God. We'll talk about that one later as well. Detroit Become Human is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and it appears to put you in the shoes of a cybernetic human. This is from the makers of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, so seeing the trailer, it wasn't that impressive for us. Honestly, it was maybe one of the worst games we saw of E3 in our opinion. But being that it was produced by Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, it's like,
I know,
those are such great games, so maybe, I don't know, we might have to give them a chance just for the heck of it. Insomniac Games is bringing out SpiderMan.
Yes.
It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and we got a long gameplay trailer of it. We'll talk about that one later as well. Alright, so enough of that news. Let's talk about the games that we were personally excited about. This list might be a little strange to you. I feel like our top game is not on anybody's list on mine.
Anybody's list.
So we'll get into that. The first one that caught our eye was A Way Out. This is a game being developed by Hazelight out of Sweden. It's going to be for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and has a release date of 2018. We don't know when within 2018. It's an upcoming action-adventure video game played from a third-person perspective. The game will only be playable in either local or online split-screen co-op between 2 players, with no single-player mode. Players will control Leo and Vincent, 2 convicted prisoners who must break out of prison and stay on the run from authorities. This is being directed by Joseph Fares, who previously worked on Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Now, according to Fares, the game was his passion project, and he canceled an upcoming feature film in order to devote more time to working on this game. That's sort of crazy.
That's insane to think about.
But I gotta be honest, this one caught our eye so much. Couch Co-op took a nosedive with this new generation of consoles and gaming, where studios wanted to sell 2 prints of their game and not one and let people share.
Right.
One of the worst things about new gaming, I feel like.
Absolutely. I feel like the co-op gaming was more of the PlayStation 2 era. We spent a lot of time on games like Shrek and things like that. Harry
Goblet of
Potter,
Fire, had a lot on that. This is our favorite thing. We love it. We miss the days when you could sit next to your friend on a couch and play. And that's how the game is. And how amazing is it? You get to break out of prison.
Right. It's so cool. And I love how you're going to be in like 2 different versions. Like on the bottom screen, you could be in a prison cell, and on the top screen, you could be like in the prison yard. How cool is that?
It's not going to be that old school way where you're just following your partner all around. You guys could literally be doing 2 different things in 2 different places in some cohesive breakout or whatever. We don't know about the game yet, but it's you break out of prison, and then while you're out of prison, you got to stay away from the authorities. I am excited about this one.
Also announced was SpiderMan. Now this is being developed by Insomniac Games. It's set to release in the first half of 2018, and it is a PS4 exclusive. Activision originally owned the rights, but never took full advantage of the license. What's new?
What's this Activision?
Yeah, exactly.
They ruin things. Call of Duty, Guitar Hero.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't great. Fortunately, Sony has taken the license back in-house and awarded development to Insomniac Games. Now, you know Insomniac Games from Ratchet & Clank, Spyro the Dragon, Resistance, and Sunset Overdrive. This game has a much more Spidey feel, and it seems huge. Lots of web-slinging, great graphics, and far improved animations. The combat is very similar to Rocksteady's Arkham games and seems to be somewhat of a clone, but much brighter and clean. The demo looked great, although scripted. I loved how Spidey interacts with his environment, and we got a real cool tease at the end with Miles Morales. So this game apparently has more than meets the eye.
Are we going to see the Sinister Six in this, I wonder? I loved it when he was saving people from the crane falling. I honestly thought that demo was great, and like you said, it was scripted, yes. Yeah. But it really gave us an idea of what we're going to be looking for, and being that it's somewhat of a clone of the Arkham games, count me in, man. Just count me in. This is a reason to have a PlayStation.
Up next, our favorite one, or at least my favorite one from the entire conference.
Should we stop? We should let them try to guess for a second.
Ooh, we should. What do you think?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sea of Thieves!
I bet it's not what you thought.
Yeah. Now this is developed by Rare, and it is set to release in the first or second quarter of 2018. It's going to be on Microsoft PC and Xbox. Sea of Thieves is a pirate-themed action-adventure cooperative multiplayer game played from a first-person perspective. It's a cross-platform play between Windows PC and Xbox One video game consoles. A group of players travel and explore an open world via a pirate ship and assume different roles such as steering, hoisting sails, navigation, firing cannons, and other tasks. 2 to 4 players will embark on quests, collect loot, and engage in combat with other players. Sea of Thieves is a shared world game, which means groups of players will encounter each other regularly throughout their adventures.
This game has a cartoonish art style and exaggerated physics. Basically, people are being thrown into cannons and shot across the ocean onto islands and ships and not dying.
Right, exactly.
It's just pure fun. This is as pure as it gets for fun, and probably the reason...
Clean fun. Clean
fun, very true. And this is probably the reason that we're most excited about this game. We have a lot of first-person shooters and action and adventure. Yes, that's very serious. But this shouldn't be taken serious. It should be taken very lightly. One thing I really love about this game is it is being developed on the Unreal Engine 4, which means the graphics are going to be beautiful, no doubt. But there's so many things like weather and day and night, rain. We got sharks in the water.
Exactly, they try to kill you.
It's just so cool.
Skeletons popping up out of the sand.
This reminds me a lot of like Warhawk.
Yeah, definitely.
Pure fun. It's still shooting and blowing things up and all that, but it's just pure fun.
I'm so excited.
We saw a lot of videos, and the reason that we thought this was just so fun is, like you said, 4 players. You got 4 players, you're playing online. We don't know yet if it's split screen. If you can play like together, we gotta play on 2 different Xboxes. But 4 of us will be on a ship, and we're gonna go out and sail. Say we're gonna take an island, we're gonna go get treasure, we're gonna get some booty from there, maybe. We're gonna land on those islands, dig it up, and then take it back to our ship, and then take it back to a sanctuary where we can cash in that gold.
But it's not really a sanctuary, though.
But there's a possibility of other ships catching you. Real people on other ships catching you midway and attacking, sinking your ships, boarding your ships and attacking you. A very fun game. And this is the one I'm most excited about too. I'm really excited about Spider-Man, but man, I don't know, man. This is pure fun. We gotta have this one. Up next, we gotta look at a cinematic trailer of Beyond Good and Evil 2. This is a game being developed by Ubisoft Montpellier. The release date is who knows, sometime in the future, probably years from now. Now, the platforms we don't know yet. My assumption, based on the graphics that we saw, it's probably gonna be PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I doubt the Switch is gonna be able to play it. Now, Beyond Good and Evil 2 takes place a few generations prior to the events of Beyond Good and Evil 1. It's a role-playing game where players will generate a male or female character that starts the game at the very bottom of the social system. As the player completes various tasks, they will improve in various attributes, and gain spacecraft and crew members, which they can also improve over time. Players will visit planets that have their own societies, and by completing tasks on these planets, will gain new technologies or other facets to improve their spacecraft. The game will have single-player and cooperative player support. Even as a single player, the player participates in a shared universe, with some events affecting all players at the same time. Okay, wow.
This trailer was amazing.
This should be a movie. This is a huge upgrade from the first one. The game's gonna be amazing, I'm sure of it. Little issue though. This has been in development since 2008. That's when it was originally sort of told about. We heard about it, 2008. This is Beyond Good and Evil 2 coming out. But wow, has it changed. It was being scrapped multiple times since 2008, but here we've arrived at this, which was, it blew my mind. It blew everybody's mind.
Yes.
But everybody's a little weary of it, because we still don't know. We haven't seen gameplay. But if this was a game, and we did see gameplay, this would have stole the show.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they handled it right. They brought something out so beautiful and so amazing with no gameplay, the hype sort of died.
I think so too. I mean, with this, the graphics are so amazing. There's so much detail in the pig and the monkey and all the other characters, everything that's going on. And I'm afraid that with the game that's going, whenever it decides to come out, I don't know what it's going to feel like.
Do you think they're going to be able to match the graphics anywhere near that cinematic trailer?
No, that's like something from DreamWorks. There's no way they're going to be able to match that.
But the outline of how the game is going to be played sounds amazing. I am very, very excited for it. I just think I would have waited till I had a little gameplay, brought it out all at once, and just owned E3. That's what this would have done.
Another one that caught my eye was Days Gone. Now this is from Sony Interactive Entertainment Bend Studio, and the release date is unknown at this time, and it is a PS4 exclusive. Days Gone is an open-world, post-apocalyptic, action-adventure survival horror game played from a third-person perspective. Now you're going to play as Deacon St. John, and he's a drifter and a former bounty hunter who prefers to live a dangerous life on the road rather than living in wilderness encampments. The game takes place 2 years after a global pandemic occurred which killed almost all of humanity and transformed millions of others into freakers, who are mindless zombie-like creatures that quickly evolve. Now this is an open world type of game, which is one of my favorites, and at the conference they had like all of these random bodies hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, the Sony.
Creepy. Yeah,
a lot of people were saying it was cringy. I know it was sort of cool.
I liked it. It scared the crap out of me.
Just hanging some dudes from the ceiling like they did in the game.
Yeah,
they
and then he like jumped. I was like, wait, what was that?
It was sort of crazy. We are not fans of the zombie genre.
No, not really.
Unless they do something a little crazy like Last of Us. I really like that. But this is different. You know,
this is very different.
It's open world, like you said, so think sort of Grand Theft a bit. But you got a guy sort of like Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy, where he's like, I don't want to live in your stupid wilderness encampments. I'm just going to take my motorcycle and drive on. And of course he runs into some bad guys, it seems like, on the way. And then how amazing is it to see multiple zombies running at one time?
It's super creepy.
Now, if I was going to compare this to a game, it's sort of like Dead Island meets GTA. Maybe Last of Us meets Dead Rising. It's a little somewhere in between, but I like how it seems to be a little closer to The Last of Us, where the zombies aren't really zombies, they're more like clickers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a little different. One of the coolest things that I saw is God of War is back. It's being sort of rehashed in a big bad way. This, of course, is being developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment Santa Monica Studios and will be releasing Q1 of 2018, and of course it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It will be the 8th installment of the God of War series and the sequel to the 2010's God of War 3. The game will be a soft reboot from the franchise and will take the series to the world of Norse mythology. Of course, all previous games were based in Greek mythology. We will follow Kratos and his son, and it has a very old man Logan feel to it, which is something I'm a big fan of. We were able to see the gameplay trailer at E3, and wow, was it cool. But the coolest thing to me was that very end, where they see the World Serpent come out of the water.
Yes!
Let me tell you about the World Serpent. The World Serpent is a child of Loki. I bet you didn't know that. Basically what happened, Odin, Loki's father, didn't approve of these kids, there was 2 other children, and took them and tossed them into the ocean. The serpent grew so large it was able to surround the earth and grasp its tail, hence the name World Serpent. When it releases its tail, Ragnarok will begin, which of course is a series of major events that leads up to the deaths of many Norse gods, including Thor, Loki, Odin, as well as many others. So confirmed! Kratos will be in Marvel's Thor Ragnarok. No, just kidding, but wow!
Wait, wouldn't that be cool though?
That would be amazing. You think that the World Serpent will be in Ragnarok?
I don't know. If he is, that would be so interesting. I don't know much about Norse mythology, so I'm kind of excited to learn more about it.
I'm a big fan of Norse mythology. I love it. Of course, obviously Thor and Loki. You know all of those.
Right.
But to see it in a game, never seen it in a game, I don't think. You know, besides Thor games,
right.
obviously. But nothing like sort of historical, in a way. Even though, I guess, God of War wasn't really historical, but it sort of was. I'm sure there are a lot of kids that learned their Greek mythology
for sure.
through that game. Now, a few honorable mentions. You're wondering, what about this game? What about that game? There were some really good games, but the things that just caught our eye, that doesn't mean that these other games weren't fantastic as well. I guess the first one should be Super Mario Odyssey. It's going to be sort of the first big-budget, amazing game since Breath of the Wild, the release of the Switch. Looks really, really good.
It looks like it's going to be a really fun game.
At first, I thought the hat idea was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I did too, but now that I can see in the trailer you can take over like T-Rex and stuff, I'm totally okay with it.
It's a new play. It's a new way to play. You throw your hat, you take that over.
It completely reinvented the game.
Yeah. And it just looks beautiful anyways. I really have little cues to the old school gaming of Mario 2. So, big fan of that. That might sell the console to us. That one might do it. Also, Crackdown 3. Crackdown, in general, was one of my favorite games when Xbox 360 originally came out. I love that game. I believe it was the first game that had tuning. Like what we see in Borderlands, toon shaders. It was something new, and everyone was like, whoa, what's going on here? They're outlined. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But what makes Crackdown 3 so cool is Terry Crews is going to be at the helm of it. That's awesome. I love Terry Crews. We all love Terry Crews. He's awesome. And being in Crackdown 3, oh yeah. Another one was Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Wolfenstein, of course, actually Wolfenstein was my very first-person shooter ever, possibly first video game ever. I love the franchise, even the new ones. The new ones have all been great, and this one sort of blew me away.
Yeah, the trailer in this one, I was totally like, wait, what's going on?
Fallout?
Where are we
Did it remind you of Fallout to begin with?
So I was kind of like, where is this going? And then we finally got into more in depth of the game. I was like, oh, it's Wolfenstein. I get it now.
Yeah, so we learned this is taking place in the 60s, I believe, and of course the Nazis and Germans have already taken over America. This takes place in the United States. And it's sort of that. It's Man on the High Castle.
Exactly,
in a way. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing game. The graphics look absolutely fantastic. The lighting, the arts, everything on it. I'm a big fan of this, and I will be getting this game without a doubt.
Now, the next one is Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, the Assassin's Creed franchise may have overstayed its welcome for some people. For us, we're kind of like, meh.
It sort of has for me. Of course, we've heard about this. This has been leaked for a long time that it was going to be in Egypt. We finally got to look at it, ancient Egypt, as a history buff. I'm super excited about this. When they did Assassin's Creed 3 and it was sort of revolutionary times, I was very, very excited about that. But it sort of fell short for me a bit, and I hope that's not what happens here. I will get the game, but I will wait until it's cheap, probably around Christmas when that went out, that Christmas Black Friday, because those games do seem to go cheap pretty quickly. I want to play it, but I don't think I'm going to spend top dollar for it. I'm not going to put the $60 into it. But I'm excited it's in ancient Egypt. We don't get enough Egypt games. Another one, South Park fans, Fractured But Whole will be coming out. The thing I really love about South Park games is it really looks like the cartoon. And this was actually painstakingly drawn out in 2D animation for the game. So I'm sure it took a lot of work to make this game, but it seems to have paid off. Although what they showed us was very weird. It was very South Park.
Yeah, it made me feel completely uncomfortable watching it.
And that's South Park for you. And finally, Star Wars Battlefront 2. We didn't get enough, I don't feel like. We didn't get enough information here. And I gotta be honest, Star Wars Battlefront 1 was a little bit of a disappointment. It didn't really have a lot of content, in my opinion. But they did say they're going to be adding a single-player campaign to this, which I'm very excited. And it's going to go across the 30 years of Star Wars. So we're getting all the characters in it, basically. And the videos that they showed of the actual multiplayer, wow.
Oh my gosh, did you see Darth Maul? I mean, that was insane!
That was sick, man.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to buy that, that's obvious. I didn't need to put it on our list for the top ones because it doesn't matter.
Right,
everybody's buying
it.
So that was the E3 conference. But something we got outside of the E3 conference was a little tidbit from Atari.
Yeah.
Atari box.
Atari's making headlines.
Is Atari back? What's going on? My head's blown. The console, we're back in the 90s. What is going on here?
What happened?
If you don't know what happened, speculation began when AtariBox.com was discovered with an embedded YouTube video connected to it. This video showed bits and pieces of what looked like to be a redesigned Atari console. Yes, wood grain and all. It was officially confirmed on Atari's Twitter when they said it's been a long time coming, and yes, it's official. And it is very real. Go to www.ataribox.com today and sign up to know more. #Atari. So if you know anything about video game history, Atari was the king of the castle. But when the 1983 video game collapse happened, they went to the wayside. There was a lot of shovelware. Of course, you know, E.T. Nintendo stepped in and took it over and never looked back. But no doubt, Atari certainly suffered from shovelware. Of course, it's been 20 years since the Atari Jaguar, and there's no word on what this is. If it's an emulator or a full console, but we do know that it's based on PC technology. We've been told, it seems, a hint that it is a new console, and it's not an emulator of sorts, like the NES Mini. So being that it's PC technology, if this is a console on its own, do you think it'll survive between the big three?
I don't think it will. I mean, it might survive for like the first couple years, but I don't think it's long lasting.
Okay, so Atari games were fun, but how do they hold up now?
I don't think they do.
You know, I get it. We can play some Pitfall or some Pong or whatever.
Right.
But how are you going to bring that into the new era? It'll be great and fun for a while, and you'll sell the crap out of this.
Oh, for sure.
If it is like the NES Mini, you will still sell the crap out of it for nostalgia purposes. But if it's a full-blown console, I want it to work. I really do.
Too.
Because competition is great. But if I was going to pick one company that needs to come back, and I really feel like they could come back and be strong and really go against the big three, it'd be Sega.
Yes, that's exactly
Sega!
what I was thinking.
That's who I would think it would be. Atari, I don't know. Now, Atari was before our time, technically, so I guess we aren't as in love with Atari.
Right.
But I really want this to work, because I want more consoles, I want everybody to fight, and winners to come out. It only benefits us, the consumer. So that was Nerdy News and the E3 special. I wouldn't say it was an amazing E3. There wasn't any big, amazing, industry-changing announcements, or games for that matter. I would say the best one that we saw was Beyond Good and Evil 2, at least the cinematic trailer.
Right.
It was very interesting to now see what the Xbox One X is, what it costs, what it does. I don't know if the $500 price point will sell the normal consumer that already has an Xbox, because they're probably only going to be able to sell their current Xbox One S for, I don't know, GameStop will give them maybe $150 or something crazy. So there's a long way to that $500, and I don't know if it will be a noticeable enough change. So it's going to be interesting. It's just a weird year for gaming. It just is a very weird for gaming. Atari coming in, Sega. There's some announcements down there, and Sega saying, we're coming back too. We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about this. We are back, and hopefully this isn't the beginning of another crash.
I hope it's not. We're going to be optimistic and say that it's just the beginning of a new era.
If it does crash, I know who's coming out on top. Nintendo.
Yeah.
Alrighty guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks guys.
Bye.
Bye.